Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how to get started with crypto raiders. I've gotten pretty deep into crypto raiders lately, which is a game on the Polygon network, and I recently wrote a thread about my strategy and what I'm doing. I had a couple of responses that said, people want to get involved but don't really know how to get started because it can be kind of a complicated process. So I thought I would take the time today to put together a quick little guide for you guys if you want to get involved and start playing the game and hopefully earning some of the rewards from the different tokens. Couple of things before we get started. One, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own research. I'm just interested in the game, and so wanted to make a helpful guide for anyone else that is trying to get started. And secondarily, if you like these kinds of videos, I'm hoping to do more content around crypto raiders. Really good community, and so I'm enjoying being a part of it. I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps me out. Almost 200 subscribers, that's pretty exciting for me. So let's get into it. So the first thing is this is the main website of Crypto Raiders. So, I'll link all the links in the description, so don't worry about that. But this is kind of where you can go to start playing the game and create an account. So once you do that, you can go play a game and it'll take you to this login page. They actually just switched this to email. Mixed feelings about that. I personally don't really care. You can make a burner email account or whatever, but you would click sign up, make a profile, and then you can actually connect your wallet to that. Before we get into that, two assumptions that I'm making with this video are, one, that you have MetaMask installed. So if you don't, go look up on YouTube how to do that. There's like a million videos. And I'm also assuming that you have some ETH in your MetaMask, and then also have access to the MATIC Polygon network, which is just, you have to add a network into MetaMask. So all of those things are very Googleable. So definitely do those things if you don't if you haven't done them, because that's kind of what I'm assuming to help you guys get started. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to have to do is, if you have ETH in your MetaMask wallet, you're most likely connected to the Ethereum network. And so the game is actually played on the Polygon mainnet. So the first thing you're going to have to do is actually bridge some Ethereum to the Polygon network. And this is actually really easy to do. There's probably lots of different ways to do this. I use the Umbria Narni bridge, and it's worked great for me. I really haven't had an issue with it at all. I'll link this in the description, but basically what this will do is it's going to bridge ETH from Ethereum to Polygon. You just type in how much ETH you want. So let's say we're going to put in like half a ETH. It'll obviously use up some gas, so this is what you're going to get on the other side. Then you press send with MetaMask. I usually just bump this up all the way because transaction costs on Polygon are very minuscule. It's like nothing. And then if you press send, it's going to have you approve a bunch of things in MetaMask. I'm not going to do that right now, but it'll have you approve things, and you might have to sign multiple transactions, but it will get there. And then once you do that, you can actually kind of switch into your the Polygon network. And you'll see, I only have, it's called wrapped ETH from the Polygon network, so I don't have that much because I just used it for a bunch of stuff, but this will have however much ETH you put in. And so now you have money on the Polygon network, and you can actually start doing stuff with it. The one thing that you have to remember is that Polygon uses MATIC as their token, and so to do anything at all on the Polygon network, you need a little bit of MATIC. This can be kind of a problem for some people because if you don't have any MATIC, you really can't do any transactions, because even though the transaction costs are very low, you need a little bit of MATIC to get started. And so there's a couple of ways to get MATIC, and that's going to be the next thing you have to do. So the easiest way to do it is to just have someone send you some MATIC. So I was able to get a friend, actually not even a friend, like literally I posted in the Crypto Raiders Discord, and I was like, hey, can somebody please just send me like one MATIC? One MATIC is like $2. Because you can't do anything without that. And so ideally someone can send you that, and you'll have a MATIC, you'll have some MATIC in your wallet, and then we can talk about what to do with that. But if you absolutely can't do that, there's MATIC faucets out there. I've actually tried a bunch of these. I just Google MATIC faucet, and you connect to it, and they haven't worked for me, which has been kind of frustrating because sometimes the faucets are down. So if you're able to get it from someone, or if you just message someone in the Discord, people are really nice, and sending like 0.1 MATIC is actually all you really need, because that's going to help you get started with the game. So that's the next step, is you have to figure out a way to get MATIC. Okay, and so now that you have a little bit of MATIC, your 1 MATIC or 0.1 MATIC, the first thing that I recommend everyone doing is to just get a little bit more MATIC, so that you don't have to worry about ever having 0 MATICs and then you can't do a transaction. That's probably the worst thing that can happen on Polygon, is that you'll want to do a transaction and you're out of MATIC and you can't do any more transactions. So what I've done is, I have like 11 MATIC or 10.5 MATIC in my account. So the first transaction I would do is, the ETH that you just sent over from the Ethereum mainnet, I would take a little bit of it, and just say, like, 10 MATIC is going to be like 0.007 ETH. So basically like $20. And I just like hold on to that, because that'll last you like forever. I haven't replenished this 10 MATIC. I started with 11 and I've done like so many transactions, and right now it's only 10.6. And that was with kind of Polygon was having high gas costs lately, and high gas costs for Polygon is like $1. So that's the next step I would do. Just make sure you have a little bit of Matic in your wallet at all times so that you're able to do transactions on the Polygon network. Okay, so now we finally have our wallet set up for Polygon. We have ETH in our wallet, or wrapped ETH in our Polygon wallet, and we also have a little bit of Matic so that we can do transactions. The next step, which we kind of showed at the beginning, is to go here and make an account. If you haven't done that already, it'll take you to this screen. You can sign up and create your profile and link your own wallet into that account. All right, so now that you have an account on your on the Crypto Raiders site, and you've linked your wallet, it's going to take you to a page like something like this. Obviously, you won't have any Raiders. I have 4 right now, but you can go and get more Raiders here, and this is essentially going to link you to OpenSea. But this is kind of the main home page, I would say, of the game. There's actually a couple of different home pages. And I'll link all of them down below, but you can kind of tell by the URL. So this is play.cryptoraiders. Then you have bank, which is kind of where all of the tokens live. And then now you kind of have this new one that's called econ. And I think they're kind of trying to move everything to this, but it's still a work in progress. So I'll link all 3 of these. I just keep them all open in my tabs, because sometimes I just need to do different things on each of the sites. But this is basically where you're gonna start. And so in order to actually start the game, there's 3 things that you can basically do. One is you can buy Crypto Raiders. One is you can buy Crypto Raiders mobs, which are the enemies of the game. And the third thing you can do is kind of get into the token ecosystem, and we'll walk through each of these things. So to start out with getting Crypto Raiders, like the characters, like these guys, you're actually going to want to go to OpenSea. And that's linked, I'll link it down below, but it's also linked here. And when you go to OpenSea, this can be a little bit overwhelming. The first thing I'm going to tell you is anytime you see a skull, do not buy that. That's a dead Raider, and that was kind of like a thing from the past. But right now, as of this recording, January 2020, there was just a recruitment event where you could get new Raiders. And so you can see these are all kind of the new recruits. And the floor on these is actually a little bit up. I got a few off the floor the other day for like 0.06. So it's almost 0.09 right now, and then it's getting up there. So this is kind of how I would get started, is just probably buying floor Raiders. And I'm not going to go into the details of which Raider to buy, but I'll probably be a separate video. But if you want, I'll link some channels. I'll link some videos that I found that helped me. But essentially, like, I just try to buy a fully naked one. I don't know. It's just kind of fun to start. And whenever you buy, you can see how many dungeon runs they've done and stuff. But I wouldn't worry too much about this. If you want to I would just buy one and start playing. I'll link a video down in the description if you want to get a little bit more information. There are different things with the different Raiders. This is a 4th generation. There's all the way from 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're all kind of priced differently, but those are beyond the scope of this video. But if you want to buy a Raider, I would go here and buy a Raider. Once you do that and do the transaction, it'll show up here in your set of Raiders, and then we'll talk about what you can do with these Raiders in a little bit. The second thing you can do is buy Crypto Raider mobs. So mobs, the utility for these still hasn't been released. It's going to come out January 19th, 2022, so maybe it has when you're watching this video. Essentially, these are the villains of the game, and the idea is that there's going to be some kind of passive income. Not passive income. They're going to be able to essentially, whenever a Raider goes into a dungeon and dies, they're going to be able to collect something from that Raider, be it items or Aurum, which is the game's currency. And so I only hold one of these. They're pretty expensive. Right now the floor of the cheapest one is 0.2 almost. And there's different tiers of them. There's different rarities, and so I have like the 2nd tier. So those are even a little bit more expensive. So if you are taking a bet on this and think this is going to be useful and you have the utility, it probably is worth it. But that's kind of up to you. I'm just kind of giving you guys all the options. So those are the mobs. And then the last thing is getting into the actual tokens. So the best site to do that for me right now is to get started is probably this bank.cryptorator site. And then econ is where you can manage everything. But there are 2 ways to kind of get involved. One is staking, and one is providing LP. So before we talk about that, there's 2 main tokens, Raider and Aurum. So Aurum is the in-game token, and this basically is the token that you use to that you will use to buy things in the marketplace. Right now, you can only buy more dungeon runs. You get 5 free dungeon runs a week, but you can use Aurum to buy more dungeon runs. And so the idea is that, it's relatively cheap. It's like 3 cents. And the idea is this should be kind of stable price over time, so that it doesn't cost more to actually play the game. Um, and so that's what Orem is. And then Raider is the more, I think of it as kind of the investment token in my mind, kind of the main token for the team, for the game. And the price right now is probably, this is at least a little outdated. I think it's sitting at like $9 right now, 8.50. Went up to like 14 at one point. It was like a month ago, it was like $2, and then it kind of spiked. But the idea with this is, you can stake this, and sometimes there will be airdrops based on like amount of staked rate, or there's like other things that you can get with it. So if you want to get involved in these tokens, what you want to do is first make sure you're always on the Polygon network, and then you can just buy them here. So if you click on this, it's going to open up SushiSwap, and it's going to say, swap from MATIC to Orem. You can change this to whatever you want and get some Orem. Or you can buy Raider, and it'll also open a SushiSwap page to do the same thing. So that's how you get exposed to the tokens. And we'll talk a little bit more about what you can do once you have those tokens and what are like positions that you can take in a little bit. So those are the three main things right now: is you can buy Raiders, you can buy mobs, and you can buy tokens. And now we'll just touch briefly on what to actually do once you've acquired those things, because that can be also a little bit confusing. So starting again with Raiders, so when you have a Raider, it'll show up here, and what you can do is essentially run missions with it, or more recently run quests with it. Quests right now are paused, and they're going to come back, so this is very new. But when I've already run all my missions. You get 5 missions a week, and you can actually go to the stash here and spend some Orem to buy more missions, which is, a use case of Orem. And so when you click on this, it'll show up like all these dungeons that you can run, and it tells you like the recommended levels. Right now, your Raiders cannot die. There is going to be a permanent death option in the future that you can opt into, but right now, if you lose a dungeon, nothing really happens. You just don't get any XP or any items. There's a ton of videos about strategies on which dungeons to run, this and that. So if you want to look into that, I'm not going to talk about that here, but that's what you can do with the specific Raider. You can also duel, by like another opponent. I haven't actually done this yet. And then once you actually run dungeons, you can click on a Raider, this little icon, and then you can rename it. You can change how they look, and then you'll find items in the dungeons, and then you can equip those items. And of course, there's a ton of strategy involved with that, but we'll talk about that in another video. And then as you level up, you can also increase the specific stats of your character. So those are all the things that you can do with Raiders on this side. And then on the other side, on econ.crypto Raiders, you can actually go on quests. Right now, questing is paused, but if it wasn't paused, they would be here, and then you would be able to send them out on quests and generate some kind of like herbalism and grimweed, which is still very new, so I don't really know much about it. But that's Raiders. The second thing we talked about was mobs. Right now, you can't do anything with mobs. You just hold them. January 19th today, we're going to find out what we can do with mobs. And the third thing is tokens. So you bought some Raider, you bought some Orem. What can you do with it? So there's two things: staking and providing LP, or liquidity in an LP pool. So for staking, it's pretty self-explanatory. You put in Raider, and Raider generates Orem. So all of the Orem that is spent in the game, on like in the stash thing to buy more dungeons, is going to be split amongst everybody who's staking Raider. So this is a nice passive way to earn some Orem that you can then use to play the game. And the idea is what you can stake for a specific period. So it's 3, 6, 9 months, or 12 months. I've staked for a year, and the APRs increase the more you stake. So actually, I actually staked at probably around $1,000, and so the price went down. So I'm actually down here. But the idea is that I'm going to generate Raider when I exit this position. And like my thesis is that Raider could potentially go up. So the pros are that this is relatively low risk. You're exposed to the price fluctuations of Raider, but obviously this is locked up. So the other thing you can do besides staking is do liquidity pools, and you can see all of them here, but you actually don't want to put them in here because they have to do contract migration. So you actually want to go to the econ.cryptorators site, and you can manage each pool here and add the liquidity that you want in here. But I just go here because there's a nice little link to actually make those tokens, and if you click it, it opens up SushiSwap. So once you have the LP that you want, and you made the tokens, you would go to this page, the econ.cryptorators site, and then you can actually manage and stake and unstake and things like that. LP pools will generate Raider, and so that's the main currency. And then you can do as you wish with the Raider. You can restake it, you can sell it for some Aurum, you can do basically whatever you want. But the idea is that this has you're not locked in, so you can pull out whenever you want. But obviously, you're exposed to like impermanent loss and things like that. Those are kind of all the ways to get involved. And then anytime you've generated any rewards, there's a nice little claim all rewards button on this page. And so, for example, right now you can see like I've generated about 10 Raiders worth, and then I have like 8 Aurum pending, and like another like 1 Raider pending. So it's not a lot for me right now, and I've invested like $1,000 into this. So just be wary of that. That this may not be the best strategy if you have lower, if you don't have that much money to spend. It might be better just to go onto the Raider side and play the game. But I'm kind of trying to do a little bit of everything, and that's just like kind of the way I want to play the game. But those are all the ways to get involved in the game. That's how to get started. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And I'm happy to help answer them. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping to make more of these guide videos for people to get involved in the game, because I think this is a really unique community, and I'm enjoying spending some time playing this game. So that's all I got for you guys in this one. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.